Welcome to Chem Help ASAP. In this video, we will discuss some fundamental ideas around the topic of generic drugs. Upon completion of this video, students will be able to distinguish branded drugs from generic drugs, define bioequivalence, and describe the abbreviated new drug application. The original form of a drug that is approved and marketed is the branded form of a drug. This branded form will be protected by some number of patents, composition of matter, formulation, etc., and will have exclusive marketing as long as those patents last. Once those patents expire, however, other drug makers will be able to market the same drug substance to patients. These later drug makers will market the generic form of the drug. In order to market a generic drug maker must first establish that their drug substance is at least as pure as the drug substance that is produced by the branded drug maker. This purity requirement is relevant to both safety and efficacy. If the substance is not pure, then the generic form will not achieve the same efficacy as the branded form. If the substance contains impurities, then those impurities may give rise to higher safety risks than the branded form. With identity and purity established, the generic drug maker must demonstrate bioequivalence of the generic form. Bioequivalence is established through small, short clinical trials that show the doses of the generic drug give the same concentration profile as the branded drug in the blood of human subjects. Achieving bioequivalence requires not only a comparable level of purity, but also a very similar formulation of the generic and branded forms. With the purity and bioequivalence data in hand, the generic maker can submit an ANDA, abbreviated new drug application, to the US FDA and receive permission to market the generic drug. Note that this discussion is relevant for small molecule drugs. Requirements for biological drugs can differ. So the original drug is a product of extensive preclinical and clinical research, requiring up to 10 to 15 years. If research establishes the safety and efficacy of the compound, then the branded drug will reach the market. Generic drugs only need to show that they are identical in composition and formulation to the branded drug through a short period of research. If successful, the generic drug will also be accepted as safe and effective. For this reason, the R&D costs for a generic drug are much lower, so pricing can also be lower. Once generic forms of a drug enter a market, prices for the patient will drop, often dramatically. We have now distinguished branded drugs from generic drugs and discussed ideas like bioequivalence and the abbreviated new drug application, which must be completed in order for a generic drug to reach the market. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Your questions are also always welcome. Take care.